Some Christians say that they are married to Jesus.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
No. I'm going to answer for you. But why am I right?
Yeah.
Every time someone says this, they're compensating for being not a very good person.
Yeah.
Not very dateable person.
Not a dateable person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's only girls that say it. Because guys...
No, that's not true.
Because it's gay for dudes to say it. Unless they're Catholic priests, and then they're married to Jesus also.
Yeah. So I don't know if guys would use the word married to Jesus, right?
Okay.
But especially like in the I'll say this, in like the late 90s, early 2000s,
yes.
that time frame,
right?
Between like, youth group, college age, all that. There was a big movement both for guys and girls to say we're dating Jesus.
Yeah, no.
And so guys and girls.
I remember this.
Yeah, they would.
And I never did it.
They would use that statement. Yeah. So, it was. And so, like,
no, I'd rather date my Xbox. Go away. And so it seemed to always coincide with breaking up with somebody. Yes.
Like, I'm going to break up with you.
Yeah.
And just, it's because I need to go date Jesus.
Right.
Right. And then, as my wife would say.
It's not me.
Right.
It's Jesus.
Right. And so, it's like, well, okay, like two things. It's like, that is like the ultimate, like, I'm dropping the God card on you.
Right.
There's nothing you can say about it.
Right.
Because, I just need to go be with Jesus. Right. What are you going to say to that? Right. I say what are you going to say, but I think college students, high school students probably didn't have the intellectual prowess to be like, no, you're not. Like, or just argue with it. Like, no, I'm not letting you drop the God card on me for this. Like, no. And so
I was praying the other day and God said we should break up.
Right. That would happen too.
No.
And but the whole like dating Jesus thing. And so my wife would say like so she went to a private Christian college, and so she said that guys would like break up with girls, be like, yeah, I need to go date Jesus. And then like, a week later, they would, Melanie would go, my wife would say, oh, I didn't know that Jesus was blonde and curvy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of this, it's just what would happen.
And then he's with some Hispanic dude next week. It's Jesus.
Jesus. It's so wrong.
I told you.
We may say pronounce the name a little different, but
come on, babe.
The same. It's crazy. All right,
Jesus now.
Jesus, and so no, we shouldn't use those kind of phrases of like I'm dating Jesus or I'm married to Jesus.
Yeah, no.
I think it's fine.
What about like the 36-year-old women who just couldn't make dating work the whole time? Yeah. And then just be like, all right, I give up. I'm married to Jesus now.
And I do think that happens.
Okay.
I do think there's a point where individuals feel like they have missed a dating or married window.
Okay.
And because of that, they will say, okay, therefore I am just going to give my time, my energy, my efforts, really all of my heart to the Lord.
Okay.
And I'm completely okay with that. Like that could be very admirable, actually.
Can God fill the spouse-shaped hole in your heart, or is that always there and you have to deal with it?
Yeah, man, that's a good question, because what you see in Genesis pre-fall, right, is that God saw Adam and then said it was not good for man to be alone. And yet God himself was there with Adam. Fully. Like Adam was fully, Adam had the Spirit of God in him and was fully connected to the Lord, right?
Okay.
And
is this why the Catholics say you should either devote your life to service and deny that part of yourself, or get married because it's a sacrament?
Well, yeah. Now, for the priesthood, it's maybe a little bit different than that. So in 1 Corinthians chapter 7,
Okay.
let me pull that up real quick.
And no other denomination of Christian doesn't let their pastors or priests get married, right?
Correct.
All the other ones do?
As far as I know of,
even Anglican?
Anglican? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, even Anglican priests get married.
Or what's the other one? Orthodox.
Orthodox priests can get married.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So in 1 Corinthians 7, verse 32, it says, Paul's writing, he says, I want you to be without concerns. The unmarried man is concerned about the things of the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But the married man is concerned about the things of the world, how he may please his wife, and his interests are divided. And I think that's really the bigger thing for the Catholic priest.
Oh,
is that they want the priest to be completely consumed, if you were, concerned, using Paul's language here, about the things of the Lord.
This was a later question.
And not having his heart divided. So, sorry.
No, but you're fine.
Yeah, okay.
So, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But does that work, though?
Yeah, that's what you were asking. It would, to me, like Paul obviously felt called to not have a wife. Okay? So Paul was not married.
Okay.
Right? So Paul obviously felt called to not have a wife. What's interesting is that even the popes can't trace this back to Peter because Peter was married. Right?
Oh, he was?
Yeah. So Peter had a wife.
To Jesus?
What's that?
Just kidding.
No. And so Peter was married.
Okay.
And so one of the things that I do believe God has put in us is a wiring in us to actually, like, you know, when God looked at Adam in Genesis chapter 2 and said it's not good for a man to be alone, he was saying that that man needed a companion. He needed someone to be with him that was like him. Okay. Not that was, you know, God was so other than different than Adam. All right. One.
Oh.
And then two, the animals and all that kind of stuff that God gave him. Well, he also gave Adam dominion over all of those animals. So the way that some people have talked about this is that God was above him as his creator and his maker. Animals are below him as those that he is considered to have dominion over. And that creates a toxic power dynamic. Right. And then Eve would be shoulder to shoulder with him. Okay. And have a true companion. And that's kind of going back to that intimacy part where you could be intimate with someone in regards to all of the wholeness of who you are, you know, physically and sexually, yes, but then also just mentally, emotionally, spiritually, being, you know, in relationship, being able to relate to someone. Okay. And so I do think that most people probably have that put within them. And there's individuals I know that are not married, that are in their 40s and 50s, have never married, and really wish they had been married or were married. And so I don't know if that fully goes away. I don't know. It seems like that's an imprint within us to want to be connected with somebody else and actually even need to be connected to somebody else. When I was in college, there was this a movie Tom Cruise was in, and you know, the famous scene is he walks in the door and he says, "You complete me."
Oh yeah, Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire, yeah. And so Jerry Maguire, you know, you complete me, and so all of these churches
and all the Christians said wrong.
Right.
Yeah,
they would say no, God completes me. Right. And man, this clip, that one little clip was played all the time, like in youth groups.
You're right.
At campus ministries.
Yeah.
And they were like, see, this is wrong.
I forgot about
God completes you, not some person.
Yeah.
Right. And I actually think they were wrong in that. And I do think that there's a sense of, now, if we don't know God or not in relationship with God at all, obviously we're not going to be complete in any form or way. Okay. However, I do think that we were made to be in relationship both with God and another in very intimate ways. Okay. And so I'm not saying that that Jerry Maguire clip where he's like, you complete me. It was just like him and her and that was it. Like, no, okay, we still need God, within us, because that's how we even come alive, right? I mean, that's how our spirit man comes alive and we become awakened and we begin to really be who God created us to be. But
he said a swear earlier in the movie, so that means he wasn't a Christian.
Right.
So she couldn't complete him because only God could complete the rest of him.
And so and so
duh, Joseph.
Right, I know I'm an idiot. All right, so yes, God, it's like Ecclesiastes says that eternity has been, chapter 3 says that eternity has been set in our hearts.
Okay.
And so there is this eternal longing within us that only God can complete and only God can fulfill within us. But there's also a longing for intimacy with a companion that's shoulder to shoulder, if you were,
right?
And that I think most of us long for and need. And though I do know individuals that have felt called into priesthood and those kind of things that do believe they've been called to singleness, and that's fine. I think one of the problems that the Catholic Church has ran into is forcing people into singleness. When singleness, because they want to go into the priesthood, forcing people to go into to be single as well.
But when they say they're not forcing them, since you
yes, it's their
volunteer,
yes, and they would say because you're called to. The problem is if you want to serve in the priesthood, you have to be single.
Yeah,
and so that's kind of like.
But can't you leave the priesthood?
Option. Well, sure.
Okay,
sure.
So
yeah, but I think that, but for those that really feel called into a priesthood, into pastoring,
yeah.
You're only giving them one option.
Well, got a lot of Protestant options.
Yeah.
A lot of weaving with the Protestants.
Right. And so come be an Anglican, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty close.
Yeah.
And so, I think that and that's what I think, but if there's a wiring within them to want to be in a relationship with someone,
yeah,
and then you tell them, but you can if you want to serve the Lord, like, I just think that's really tough for somebody.
Okay.
For anybody to go through.
So when people say they're married to Jesus, they're not. Not
in the probably the complete sense that maybe they if they're using that as the sense of I'm just going to be in a relationship with Jesus because that's just what I'm called to, that's what I'm doing, that's really what they feel, then okay. If they're using it as, and I think if you've gone through, you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you feel like I'm never going to get married, and you've kind of resigned yourself, it's just me and the Lord. Like, okay, I get that as well, and I understand that.
Okay,
the idea of connection.
Just don't use this weird phrase.
I don't know if I'd use the language.
Okay,
the language is probably a little bit off.
All right.
Yeah.